feel like I should know this. Who's your NFL team?
So it was the Chargers up until last year
Okay.
because they hired Harbaugh. And I was
Oh
like,
my God.
it's like I can't support that man. So right now I'm a Texans fan because of Stroud.
Okay.
So I think I'll stick with them regardless. But
I like the uniforms that they wore. I think it was
yeah, last week the red ones.
Sunday night. Yeah. Those are nice.
Yeah. Well, welcome into this special playoff edition of the Red Zone. James King, Evan O'Regan here. Evan, it was a fun night here in the Borderlands.
Yeah, James, it's nothing better than playoff football. We're finally here. 4 teams in action tonight on their home turf.
Yeah, exactly. Let's get right into some of those highlights. Evan, at Canutillo High tonight, the Eagles looking for a Cinderella run like they had to the state semis in 2014 up against Lubbock Cooper by district round. Eagles up 7-0 second quarter. Pirates in the red zone, but Canutillo able to get the stop and force a field goal, so 7-3. Now, the Canutillo Eagles have hung their hat on defense all year long. On the other side of the ball, though, Cesar Huerta, an emerging star at quarterback for them. The sophomore hits David Alvarado in the corner of the end zone for 6 to go up 2 scores. And just before the halftime break, Pirates threatening in the red zone again. This time, Eagles unable to come up with the stop. Caden Brown punches it in from the 2-yard line, and in the second half, it would be all Pirates. Eagles season comes to a close with a 38-14 loss.
And just down the road at Franklin High School, the Cougars, they played host to the Midland Legacy Rebels. Franklin looking to avenge a playoff loss to these same Rebels just 2 years ago. First play of scrimmage for Franklin, and the ball gets fumbled, scooped up by the Rebels, and they're set up in great field position, and they take full advantage. It's Mackenzie Rogers on the 15-yard run. He finds the end zone, and Legacy, well, they're on the board first. Next possession for the Rebels, and they're at it again. After getting pinned at their own 7, they march 93 yards down the field and cap off the drive with another Rogers score, and it's 14-zip, just like that. Cougars, they just couldn't take care of the ball in this one. On the ensuing kickoff, another fumble by Franklin, and it sets up Legacy once again. This time the Rebels go to the air for the attack. It's J.P. Reyes to Aiden Serrano for the 32-yard connection. The redemption tour does not go as planned as the Cougars fall 56-14.
Yeah, to Conquest Stadium now, Del Valle looking for their first postseason win since 2020 up against Abilene Cooper. And how will the Conquistador offense carry over to the postseason? The answer is well with Jake Fetty back there. Fetty hits Andrus May down the numbers for the opening score, 7-0 Del Valle. And then first Cougar drive, Austin Cummins going to drop back to pass. And number 5 plays both ways, gets the interception to back up his touchdown. Del Valle ball again. A pair of plays later, DV threatening handoff to Manny Fuller, and the Utah commit has got real track speed. Fuller racing down the sideline, one man to beat as he high steps his way in for the score. Now, Del Valle has an entire arsenal of weapons, including their quarterback, Jake Fetty. He's going to keep it this time, and able to skirt a few defenders and get his way in for another score. Del Valle able to pick up the win, and they'll play the winner of tomorrow's game between Lovejoy and Mansfield Timberview.
Well, can't wait for the outcome of that one. Out to the SAC now. Americas, they played host to Tascosa. The Trailblazers hoping to begin a miracle postseason run of their own. Starting the game with some trickery. Pitch back to the quarterback, Jaden Mendeville, and he'll launch one down the field to Trey Guevara. The number 1 is untouched down the sideline to open this one up with a bang, 76 yards. Trailblazers would tack on a field goal to go up 9-0. Rebels, though, they start to find a groove on offense. Option out to the heavy formation, pitch to Reese Cabe, and he'll get the edge. One man to beat, and he goes down for the touchdown to Tascosa, and they just keep adding on from there. 30 unanswered points for the rest of the way home. Americas falls 30-9.
All right, now we're going to head on the road. Another squad in 1-5AD2 playing Parkland, taking on Abilene. The Matadors just 3-7 in the regular season, but had some momentum, winning 2 of their last 3 headed into the postseason. All that would come to a halt tonight, though. The Eagles averaging 39 points a game, and that offense was firing on all cylinders tonight. Abilene scores 84 and blanks the Matadors. It's the Eagles' second most points scored in a postseason game as the Mats round off their season at 3-8. Now we had some scores from other teams that were on the road tonight. Bel Air fell to Lubbock Monterey 63-0. So year one under head coach Gary Ricorder comes to an end for the Highlanders.
Yeah, and the Slido, they were also on the road playing Randall. They take the L in this one as well, 71-27.
Yeah, in our final game tonight, Clint on the road taking on West Plains. The Lions wrap the year with a 42-8 loss. But going back to the games that we had here in town, obviously Del Valle, the only winners, and they did it commandingly, a 63-35 win for the Conquistadors. I mean, you were out at their practice earlier this week, and you've seen this offense up close.
Yeah, they just look unbelievable. I think when I was at practice the other day, I saw one drop pass in the hour and a half plus that I was there.
Yeah.
So the offense just going to be unmatched. So I'm very curious to see. We're of course waiting the matchup of that game tomorrow. Whoever they end up playing, very intrigued to see how that matchup goes in round two.
Yeah, and those two squads, Lovejoy and Mansfield, Timberview, both good teams. So Del Valle will have to go on the road and try to win an area championship. Again, when we find out who they're going to play, we will let you guys know both on air and online. That game is tomorrow at 6 our time, so you might want to keep your eyes peeled on social media to see how that one is going to get Del Valle's. But if we're going back to teams that ended their season, like Franklin, obviously they had a younger squad this year. Shea Smith, their starting quarterback for the past 4 years, makes his departure. He graduates, is at UTEP now, scoring a touchdown last week as well, which is cool. But now they have to replace pieces like him, and so Ernie Powers was a big part of that offense. Couldn't really get it going tonight there.
Well, you know, the thing is that Noah Friesen and Ernie Powers, they made up the Franklin offense tonight.
Yeah.
They scored the 2 touchdowns that they had the entire game. So I think that the future is bright for Franklin. So very intrigued to see how they do next season, building off of this year's success after missing the playoffs last year.
Yeah, and then obviously Kenny Tuyo's season comes to an end. They were in command of that game really in the first half. It was a couple defensive penalties that really set up Lubbock Cooper in the red zone to be able to get those 10 points that they had in the first half. But really in the second half, they couldn't get anything going offensively. They got blinked in that second half, which, you know, it's obviously a struggle. They had Matthew Gasca all year long, a senior quarterback, go down late in this year. So you have to promote a sophomore quarterback like Cesar Huerta, who has played well, but anytime you make a quarterback change that late, it's tough to overcome.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's a tough spot to come into, especially that young, kind of, I don't want to say inexperienced, but you just don't have that kind of
the same continuity with the
Exactly.
receivers and all that as you had all year long. Right?
Yeah, so again, kind of the same situation as Franklin, right? So sophomore quarterback, future should be on the bright side going to next year.
Yeah, and the best part about tonight, Evan, is that we get to do it all over again tomorrow night. We got Eastlake playing Permian. We've got El Dorado as well at home playing against Amarillo. So those are two squads that also feel like they have a good shot at winning these games. Eastlake and Permian played to a one-score game. The Falcons lost that game earlier this year out at the SAC, so they'll get their chance at redemption tomorrow. And then Eldo, you got Ryan Estrada at running back. You like your chances anytime.
Yeah, both teams undefeated in district play this year going into the playoffs, so should be very fun Friday Night Lights.
Yeah, exactly. And that does it for this postseason edition of the Red Zone. And we'll see you right back here tomorrow night with more highlights.